He ignored her calls. Every night at the same time. 9:42 p.m. Grandma Ruth calling. He'd glance at the screen, sigh, and swipe it away. He told himself he'd call her back later, when work slowed down, when life wasn't so heavy. But he never did. Then one night, she left a voicemail. Her voice, it didn't sound like Grandma anymore. It was shaky, frightened. "Danny," she said, "someone's been in the house again." The back door was open. The picture frames, they're turned around. "I called the police, but they didn't believe me. Please just call me back." Before we dive in, don't forget to like this video, hit the subscribe button, and tell me in the comments section where you are watching from. Now let's begin. He listened halfway through, then deleted it. Told himself she was just confused again. Told himself she was safe. Told himself anything to make the guilt quieter. But 3 days later, the phone stopped ringing. At first, it was peaceful. No interruptions. No guilt. But then, a silence crept in heavy, suffocating. By the second night, Daniel felt something was wrong. He called her back, but it went straight to voicemail. By the third, he was already driving to Millfield. It was a 2-hour drive through fog and drizzle, the kind that makes headlights look like ghosts. When he reached the old white house, the porch light was flickering, swinging in the wind. Her Buick was still in the driveway. Everything looked the same, but it didn't feel the same. The TV was on inside, showing static. The teacup on the table was still half full. Her Bible was open to a verse marked in red pen. "Nothing is hidden that will not be revealed." Then he saw her, Grandma Ruth, on the bedroom floor. Still, cold. The phone lying beside her, screen lit up with one name, Danny. The coroner said it was a heart attack. Peaceful, natural. But Daniel couldn't stop thinking about the voicemail. About the open door. About the photo frames turned around. After the funeral, the neighbors came by. They said she was sweet, gentle, that she'd been afraid lately. One old man, Mr. Jenkins, told him she'd called the police 3 times last month. Said someone was watching her house. They thought she was losing it. But the week before she died, she told Jenkins she saw a man standing in her yard, just staring through her window. That night, Daniel went through her things. He found old letters, faded photographs, and a small USB drive labeled Front Porch Cam. He plugged it into his laptop. The first clips were harmless mailmen, kids biking, stray cats. But then, 2:13 a.m., a man, standing at the edge of the yard, still, silent, watching the house. The next night, he was closer. Same clothes, same blank stare. And the final clip the night before she died, he was on the porch steps, looking straight into the camera. Behind him, faint headlights flashed once, then turned off. Daniel took it to the police. They said it was probably nothing bad lighting, a shadow, maybe a neighbor's kid. But Daniel noticed something they didn't. When the headlights flashed, the man turned, like he was signaling to someone. That night, Daniel replayed the final clip, again and again. Then he froze. In the window's reflection, there was another figure. Inside the house, behind Grandma Ruth. She wasn't alone. He searched her nightstand and found a small notebook. Her handwriting shaky, uneven. The man with the car came again, it read. He says he knows Daniel. Says Daniel owes him money. But Daniel hasn't visited in months. His heart dropped. He did owe someone money. A man named Carter. An old friend, if you could still call him that. A small loan that turned into threats. Messages. Shadows near his job. Could Carter have found her? At midnight, Daniel sat in her dark living room. Laptop open to the porch footage. Rain tapping the window. Then his phone rang. No caller ID. He hesitated, then answered. "Hello." Silence. Then a slow breath on the other end. A man's voice, calm, distorted. "She wasn't supposed to die." Daniel froze. "Who is this?" The voice continued. "She tried to warn you. You didn't listen. Now it's your turn." Click. Line dead. Daniel's hands trembled. He turned toward the window, and there it was. A car, parked across the street. Engine running. Lights off. Then the headlights flashed once. Twice. Just like in the footage. He ran to the porch, rain soaking his clothes, scanning the darkness. The car didn't move, but something caught his eye, a small white envelope sitting on the steps. He picked it up. Inside, a photograph. Grandma Ruth, sitting in her chair, smiling. And behind her, a tall, shadowed figure. On the back of the photo, written in thick black marker, "You should have answered the call." Daniel looked up, and the car was gone. Only the rain remained. But when he turned to go back inside, his phone buzzed in his hand. Unknown number. One new voicemail. He hit play. It was Grandma's voice. Faint, echoed, distorted. "Danny, don't come back to the house." When Daniel heard that voicemail, his heart stopped. Grandma Ruth's voice, but warped, slowed down. "Danny, don't come back to the house." He sat frozen in the dark, phone trembling in his hand. The message had no timestamp, no number. It shouldn't have been possible. The coroner said she'd died before he even arrived. Outside, the rain drummed harder against the windows. The porch light flickered like the house was breathing. Then a knock. 3 slow knocks. He moved to the door, every step heavy, every sound amplified. He opened it, no one there. Only the empty street and a puddle where a car had been parked moments ago. Then he saw it. Another envelope, sitting right where the first one had been. He picked it up, his hands shaking. Inside was a single Polaroid photo taken from across the street. Daniel, standing at the porch, holding the first photo of his grandmother. Someone had been watching him. He looked around. Nothing but shadows. But the feeling, that thick, pressing sense of eyes on him, wouldn't go away. That night, Daniel didn't sleep. He sat by the window, clutching the phone, watching, waiting. By dawn, he decided to go to the police again, this time with everything. The footage, the photos, the voicemail. But when he got to the Millfield Police Department, the officer at the front desk barely looked up. "Evidence?" he asked. Daniel slid the USB drive across the counter. "Porch footage from my grandmother's house. There's someone watching her before she died." The officer plugged it into the computer. The screen flickered, then static. Corrupted files. Every video Daniel had seen before was gone. Just white noise. The officer frowned. "Son, these are empty." Daniel stared at the screen. "No, I saw them. The man, the car." The officer cut him off. "We checked that property already. Nothing suspicious. Maybe you're just grieving." That word, grieving, it hit like a slap. When Daniel got back to the house, the air felt heavier. The smell, old wood, rain, and something faintly metallic. He noticed the Bible again, still open on the same page. But now, a new verse was underlined. In darker ink, "The dead will speak through the living." He didn't remember that being there before. Then the phone rang. Unknown number. He hesitated, then answered. A man's voice. Calm, almost polite. "You shouldn't have gone to the police." Daniel froze. "Who is this? You think they'll help you?" They never helped her. Not when she called. Not when she begged. "You're following the same path." The line clicked dead. He redialed nothing. Then, for the first time, Daniel noticed something carved faintly into the wall near the phone outlet. Scratched letters, shallow but visible. "Listen." He followed the faint sound of static leaking from upstairs. Grandma's old radio, the one she never unplugged, was playing. A local AM station, buried in interference. But beneath the noise, there was a voice. "He's still in the house." Daniel turned the dial, trying to clear the signal. The voice broke through again, faint but unmistakable. "Basement under the floor." He froze. The basement. He grabbed a flashlight and headed down. The wooden steps creaked under his weight. The air grew colder, the smell stronger. He reached the bottom, sweeping the light across old boxes, jars, the rusted water heater. Nothing. Then the beam caught something on the far wall, a section of concrete that looked newer, smoother, like it had been patched recently. He crouched down. The edge of the cement was uneven, and sticking out from it, barely visible, was the corner of something plastic. A phone. Her phone. He pulled it free, heart pounding. The screen was cracked, but still faintly lit. He pressed play on the last recording. "Danny, he said you owed him. I told him I didn't know anything." He laughed. "Said you'd understand when you saw it. Please, baby, don't come back here. Don't." The recording ended abruptly, a thud, then silence. Daniel dropped the phone, chest tightening. He stumbled backward and kicked something, a small wooden box, half buried in dust. Inside were photographs, not of Grandma, of him. Photos taken from outside his apartment, from his work, from his car. Someone had been watching him for months. And then he saw one more. A picture of Grandma Ruth, sitting in her chair, holding a small note in her lap. The note read, "He's not done with you." Daniel felt his stomach twist. He ran upstairs, grabbed his phone, and called his landlord, the only person who could have known both his address and Grandma's. "Mr. Carter?" A pause, then a chuckle. "Daniel," the voice said. "You finally listening?" Daniel's throat went dry. "Where are you?" "You shouldn't ask that," Carter said, his tone shifting, calm and venomous. "You should be asking who she was." "What?" "Your grandmother. he said slowly. You really think she was just a sweet old lady? She kept secrets from you. She wasn't the one being watched, Daniel. She was watching me. Static. The line cut. Daniel stood there in silence, his pulse hammering. Then a soft creak. The front door. Opening. He turned. A figure stepped inside. Rain dripping from his coat. Face hidden in shadow. And in his hand, Grandma's phone. That night, neighbors reported hearing shouting. Glass breaking. Then silence. When police arrived the next morning, the door was still open. The house empty. But on the kitchen table, there was a single object left behind, a new Polaroid. Daniel, tied to a chair, eyes wide, and behind him, a figure smiling in the dark. On the back of the photo, 3 words. You're next, Carter. The story continues in the next video.